Hello, and welcome back to Chit Chat with Chels and Jesse.
Hi.
Why do you sound like that?
I don't. I expected you to say something else again, and I was mid drag of a cigarette. I just
We are back after taking a week off for Christmas. How was your Christmas?
I don't know what I'm saying "and" for. I was gonna say "and the holidays," but we did other episodes, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. Did you ask me how my Christmas was?
Yep.
It's all right. I was more excited for your Christmas because I actually gave you a good Christmas this
I
year.
did have a very, very good Christmas this year.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff. Oh, she got burnt.
Sorry, I took a drink of my coffee, and it was very hot.
Yeah, so it just came out of the Keurig, and it just made 3 cups, so
Yeah.
it's warm.
But yes, I did have a very, very good Christmas. My husband made sure of that. Got me pretty much everything on my list that I wanted.
What didn't I get?
Those 2 books that I bought.
That's it?
I think that's it. I think.
Well, she also had, 2 blankets on there, and
Yeah.
like some weird-ass sweater thing.
It's not weird. It's the sweater.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
I wasn't going to buy it. And the blankets. You got how many blankets did you end up getting?
Well, I bought myself one that I got on sale at Farm and Fleet, and then your Aunt Jerry got me one, which I am wearing right now.
Oh, yeah, so
I still got 2 blankets.
you got plenty of stuff. I got those records. That was awesome. Thank you for those.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Lamb of God's Sacrament, which is actually a record that I've been wanting since
Forever.
Yeah, pretty much since I started collecting records back in like 2014 or something.
It wasn't even
And
that expensive. I don't know why you hadn't bought it before now.
I never ordered it. I would go to, I don't think I ever saw it in a record store. But then, like, anytime I'd go to a record store, I'm like, okay, well, it's either 1 or 2 albums, depending on price or location, really, because, like, you go to Disc Replay, you can get some for cheap. But
Right.
also, Disc Replay started holding new stuff, so it's more expensive. So if I went in there, I'd get, like, I found Guns N' Roses the one time, so actually, no, that was gifted to me. I don't know, but I just never found it in store, and like I said, I had always thought about ordering it, and I just never did.
Right.
So there was always something else that I wanted a little bit more, which is crazy. But then I got Creed's Human Clay, because I haven't had any Creed on vinyl, and then Mom got me Avenged Sevenfold Nightmare, which is, I think that completes the records that I want for Avenged Sevenfold. I have all of them up to Nightmare, and Hail to the King wouldn't be too bad, I suppose. I could get that. That's probably just another $25-$30. But I think there's only one more of Lamb of God, and I think I have all of the Metallica.
I have no idea.
I'd have to go through. I was just telling Haley that the other day that I want to go through and arrange by artist.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a lot of stuff. I got some more workout equipment stuff for my weight loss journey, and I got, what else did I get? Holy moly.
Books. You got that mystery book box, which is still coming.
Yes, that'll be here Saturday. I got 2 other books that Jesse got me. I got a jacket. I got all kinds of stuff. It was really nice. But yeah, so we decided to take that week off and just enjoy the holidays. And,
Yeah, I think it was good.
I think so too. We needed it.
Well, we also have so much shit going on around the holidays that it's hard to relax. And like at this point, New Year's Eve, this is the second year today is New Year's Eve, by the way.
Yes.
This will come out New Year's Day.
Tomorrow.
So this will be the second year in a row that it's just been us.
Yeah.
Well, did we do something the year before that?
We went to a party.
We did?
When your friend was with his ex.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think before that, we ended up over at Eric's.
Yeah, I think we were the only people there at midnight still,
Yeah.
right?
So, but it's just going to be us. We're just going to hang out at home and record this. Hopefully, this will be the last audio only. I am ahead of time putting together a new episode. I need to get back on track with that. It just kind of got away from me.
Yeah, and also, too, I want to try and get you some clips made. I'm at a fault with my fishing. It's not a fault, really. I'm at just a dull moment. We had some ice. I did catch some fish, but I was more concerned with getting used to the ice bite again. That's something I have to do in both seasons, which you probably don't realize that for me. I don't really talk about it, but like there's a good couple of weeks in the open water season where I have to get used to using that rod again. Because it's different.
It is.
I mean, with the ice fishing, you're just jigging up and down, which I have to feel everything when I'm using my open water stuff. So yeah, there's like a couple week lull. Like I said, I could have filmed. I think I might have some stuff on video, but not much.
Which I went ice fishing for the first time.
Yes. Super happy about that, by the way.
Yes.
But yeah, we had good ice in some spots, and it got real warm, and it's about to get even colder than what it was before. So
I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll be back on the ice soon, and then at the end of January, we are hopefully weather dependent. And I say weather dependent because I don't want to take her up there when it's going to be like 30 fucking miles an hour wind, and then negative temperatures. That's never fun. I can survive doing that stuff, but I'm not going to take her out for that.
But that would be us going to Clear Lake. Because you never finished
we
would be doing.
Thank you.
If for whatever reason that does not pan out, we're still going to take a long weekend just for us and go do something.
Yeah, that's something we got to make sure that we do. I want to do more of that. I've always said that I wanted to do that, so let's actually do it.
Yes.
And speaking of which, we've been bullshitting for almost 10 minutes. We should do a podcast.
7.5. That's not 10.
That's true.
Anyway, today's theme is what is happening. And as I was like figuring out my links and all of that, I found that one of them was no good anymore. It had all been deleted or whatever, like it sometimes happens. That was deleted by moderators. Honestly, it doesn't quite surprise me. It was kind of a...
Was it gruesome?
Not gruesome, just super shitty.
Okay.
But I did just find another one. Like, you went upstairs to make my coffee, and I was just scrolling, and I found one that it's like, holy crap. So this one is from AITAH, posted 6 hours ago.
Oh, damn.
So it's like...
This is the freshest.
Super fresh. Super fresh. Am I the asshole for giving my husband full custody of both of our children?
Okay.
I found out that my husband of 5 years was cheating on me and getting ready to take another wife without my knowledge. I come from a Muslim household, and in Islam, men can have up to 4 wives, but it isn't lawful for him to do so without the explicit consent of his first wife, and on top of that, he has to be capable of giving equal love and care to all his wives. I and millions of women today don't like this law since it has no place in the modern world. It came down to us in time of a turbulence and wars to protect women the only way they could be hundreds of years ago. Many young and educated women today never consent to sharing their husbands, but it is unfortunately prevalent due to misogyny. Because we live in a mainly patriarchal world, many men abuse this law and fuck over their wives and families. In my community, many men do exactly this and marry other women without the consent of their first wife and leave them rearing children all alone with minimal to no help. I'm an educated young woman. I have a supportive family, and I truly never thought this would ever happen to me, but it did. Well, after finding out through rumors that he is taking a wife back in the homeland, his family and mine came together to talk. My in-laws had the audacity to ask me to be peaceful and not make things hard for my husband. My parents were extremely angry, especially my father, because even though my in-laws were promising that my husband would still be my husband and do all his duties, he did not believe them, and neither did I. After the in-laws tried to gaslight us by saying a wife shouldn't be spiteful and other nonsense, I laughed in their face and told them I would never ever become a single mother with a living husband, and right then and there gave my toddler to my mother-in-law and my infant son to my father-in-law. My parents looked at me with shock, but I stood up for myself and told my father in front of everyone that I have always told him that I'd rather die before I'd raise the children of a trash of a man and have to deal with him for the rest of my life, and turned around to leave. My family and my in-laws were stunned and just looked at me as I took my purse and laughed. If you're wondering why it was so easy for me to give up on my kids, it's because I never bonded with them properly. Both my pregnancies were extremely difficult, and I hadn't gotten over my postpartum depression from my first child. I had added stress from my newborn too, who was always crying and screaming no matter what I did. Their father was of no help and truly made my life worse by not being there for me. My heart was filled with so much hatred and anger and contempt, I swear I thought I'd lose my mind and harm my children. I was so unstable that I was afraid of being left alone with them after the terrible meeting today. That's why I gave them up. I could just picture what my life was going to look like with them in it and in the future at the moment, and I didn't like what I saw. My mother called me to berate me, and my father was mostly silent and crying. I told my mother that she was lucky to have a husband like my father, and she didn't understand 1% of what I was going through. She told me to take my children back and give them to her as she would raise them. She didn't want to part with her grandkids. I asked her what was the big deal, since men do this all the time and leave their wives and children to be cared for by the in-laws. I told her I'm not going to be one of them. We started arguing, and I screamed at her that she was getting old, and in no way was I dumping 2 children on her lap like my aunt did to my grandmother, and hung up before she could get a word in. Right now, as I'm in a hotel room, my heart feels empty and I feel a distant sense of guilt, but overall, like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. The reason why I'm writing this is to ask an outside perspective. Is what I did wrong or right? Am I betraying my children? I truly do not want to raise 2 children all alone and become bitter for the rest of my life and deal with their father. I am contacting a lawyer to give up my full parental rights to my husband and pay child support if I have to.
It seems like the ultimate case of doing what's best for yourself. And I say that with the children in mind, but also this is clearly a different culture.
It is a very different culture.
So it's a lot different for those types of people. I know that shit happens here all the time.
All the time. All the time. And the thing is I don't know if I could do it if I was a parent. But like you said, different culture. And unfortunately, she didn't bond with her children.
Right, which doesn't help the situation.
Right.
Anyways.
So she has no emotional ties. And the fact that she could see herself harming her kids in that moment, that was the right option.
I agree. Especially to that point.
Yeah.
Because those kids didn't do anything.
No.
You know.
And it sucks that like this is a law out there. They can do that, but they are supposed to get permission from the first wife. I feel like it's kind of like polygamy here.
Right.
You know, it's supposed to be an agreement between the husband and the wife, or the husband and the wives.
Right.
In this case, he was cheating on her, and she found out by rumors.
Yeah. And that's a good point too. I still think that maybe it's hard to say about the asshole thing though, because like it's hard for me to be in the culture that we're in and look at that and to make that judgment.
That is, yeah.
I'm trying to look at it as like respectfully as I can.
Right, because it is a different culture, and she did say that it is very common for the man to just give up the children to the in-laws or things like that, where apparently her aunt had done the same thing with her grandmother.
Right.
So apparently this is a pretty common thing that happens here. Top comment, I recommend you get help for your postpartum depression and then go from there. I do agree with that.
I agree too. I'm always in the case of getting help when needed. This cat is sticking her head into my coffee.
Our cat's weird and really likes the smell of coffee.
And peanut butter. Or Reese's, I guess.
Next comment, but I think the answer is a very, very soft, everyone sucks here. The obvious asshole is the husband. No explanation is required. OP's parents and in-laws are also wrong, although I don't think the in-laws are as wrong as OP's parents. The least wrong in the situation is OP, but she's still wrong. Abandoning your children is wrong no matter what. But when you do it for the right reasons, I can't fault you for it much. The way you abandon your kids, too, also matters. To OP, you need help for your postpartum depression. You will also need help dealing with your parents and your in-laws. I don't know if a psychologist is enough. You might need a psychiatrist. Please get the help you need and soon. Also consult a lawyer and divorce the piece of shit you married. A response to that is from somebody else. I disagree when the safety of her children are in mind. So many times we tell parents to walk away, don't harm the children, and then when a woman does walk away, we judge her wrong. Nope, she did the right thing.
It, to me, is no different than a guy walking away from his kids. In the sense, hold on, I need to clarify that a little bit more because there's a lot of fucking asshole dudes that will just say fuck this at the first sign of a kid.
Yep.
So I get that. But there are some guys out there, probably a lot more than people think because nobody gives a dad the time of day when they do something like that. There's a lot of guys out there that just can't do it. You know, they might not be in a mental state to have a child or to take care of one or funds or whatever.
And I think the same goes for a mother as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't hear about that as much, I don't think.
I feel like you do hear about it, but it's because people are like, oh my gosh, how could a mother do that?
Right.
You know, not like, oh, she needs to work on her so that she can come back and actually be a parent to this child.
Right. Whereas it's like opposite with a guy.
No matter what, it sucks for the child.
Well, yeah.
A response to that last one, I heartedly agree. I was raised as an unwanted child. She is doing the right thing. Unless you've been there, you have no idea the damage that is done to children in this situation. I'm in my 60s, and after years of therapy, I'm finally happy with myself and my life. As a kid, I used to fantasize about my parents being killed in a car crash and me being adopted by a family that actually wanted me. Then I'd feel guilty about wanting someone to die, not specifically them, just that it was wrong to wish death on anyone.
Yeah, it's a hard situation, especially when you can't relate to it.
Right. And that's coming from someone who's been through being the child.
Right. So, yeah, I agree with that statement. And then, like I said, it's hard for me to really pass too much judgment on a different culture because I have no fucking idea.
Right.
Can't say the same for the people in the comments, but I know how people in the comments are too.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was trying to see if the OP had made any comments.
This is one you should save the link for, especially being that it's not even a day old. I don't know if you've done that already, but I would.
Wow. Someone 4 minutes ago. This isn't your fault. You made this nonsense up. Cut it out. You're the asshole. OP responded, as I've said to another asshole under here, I hope you're dismissed as a fake bot when your time comes seeking advice at the lowest point of your life. Fuck you.
Wow.
Like, this is, I could definitely see getting an update on this.
Yeah. See, that right there it is. There's always one fucking person in every group of people. Take that fucking video that I got going viral right now.
Yeah, people are.
Which, it's a completely different case. This dude's all mad that I catch and release fish. He's a vegan, and then I told him that I eat fish sometimes too. I had to throw that in there.
She did respond to another one. This one says, if you're wondering why it was so easy for me to give up my kids, it's because I never bonded with them properly, quoting OP. So you don't care about your kids at all? They are probably better off without you. Get therapy and figure out your problems. Reading between the lines, I'm glad you are leaving before your resentment makes the abuse you probably put them through even worse. You're an asshole in at least some ways. You might be what pushed him away too. We will never know, and you won't either unless you get in therapy. Good luck having your kids ever want to deal with you after you proved you don't care about them at all. OP responded, 1, I never abused them. 2, I was starting to become delirious with hate and anger, and no child deserves to see their mother struggling. 3, reading your last part, you're just a misogynist who puts all blame on women who are done nothing wrong instead of the failure of men and of men.
Yeah. Definitely come back to that one.
Wow.
Or what, are you just watching comments pop up?
Yeah, this other one. You're a failure of a mother and beyond contempt. -6 downvotes.
Well, honey, you could sit and watch this all night.
I could. I'm going to move on. I really hope that she does get the help that she needs, though.
Yeah.
And maybe at some point can be in her children's lives, even if it's just being there for them.
See, and the other thing that I'm thinking of with this is that it was posted 6 hours ago. This probably all happened within the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
This could be one huge emotional response. So I wouldn't think twice if this got deleted within the next day or two.
And it could.
So
100%
yeah, absolutely keep this link.
Yeah, I'll keep
check
it up
on it throughout a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. Yeah, what is happening? Holy crap. Next one, posted 4 months ago from AITAH. Am I the asshole for breaking a man's nose because he apparently didn't know what stop means?
Wow. No.
Right?
I'm going with a hard no for that.
All right. I, 21 female, went to my local grocery store the other day to get 1 to 2 items and then go home. As I'm grabbing said items, they were on different aisles. I see a man, about 45 to 55 years old, following me quite closely. You say, oh, maybe it's just a weird coincidence. He wanted something on the aisle. No, he didn't pick up or look at anything. Didn't even have a cart. A little more context. I was wearing a dress, not ridiculously short, but it was short because it's 90 degrees outside. Anyways, I got uncomfortable and just went and checked out. Didn't see the man until I was almost to my car. He walked up and tries to start making awkward small talk. How old I am, the fact that my license plate is a different state than the one I was in, where I was coming from, if I had a boyfriend. I told him I wasn't interested and asked him to please leave me alone. He didn't and got closer to me. I have a very big ick about people boxing me in into small spaces. Trauma. And so I said quite loudly, please back away from me. I don't like this. He laughed and basically said, aw, she's cute. What a sweetheart. And is now 3 inches away from me. So I panicked and slammed the palm of my hand into his nose, which broke it. He began screaming at me, but I was having a panic attack and just got into my car and left. I told some friends about it, and some say I'm an asshole because I could have just ducked away, and some say that's a completely normal response for someone who has trauma. So am I the asshole? Edit 1, sorry for the rant.
No.
Not at all.
I
would deserve to be hit.
Dude, I would do that to somebody. I
Yeah.
mean, not that a guy is going to be like looking up my skirt or whatever. Not looking up at the skirt. You know what I meant.
Yeah. No.
I'm not going to be in that kind of situation. However, there are situations that I could get in where somebody would, get that close to me and be intimidating. That guy was being intimidating to that woman.
And then didn't take her seriously when she verbalized, hey, I don't like this. Back away.
Right. You need to, as this guy needs to fucking learn, and that's the only way that people like that learn.
Yeah,
that's simple as that.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe that. Like,
what's even harder for me to believe is that people in her friend group would say that she's an asshole.
Well, and the thing is that she said she has trauma. She has a hard time being boxed in. I am the same way. I don't like not having an exit, and I get very anxious and I need to get out of there.
You do.
And I could imagine that especially if it was a stranger, you know, I get that way with you, let alone a stranger coming up to you who'd been following you around the grocery store and then to box you in by your car. No, fuck you. You're going to get hit in the fucking nose.
Right.
You did that to yourself.
No, and that's exactly what I would want you to do if that situation ever happened to you.
Right.
And then fucking call me. Obviously.
Top comment, you did good. Taught that masher a valuable lesson. Maybe saved a few other women in the displeasure of his advances.
Masher?
So the next comment is taught that masher a valuable lesson. I haven't heard someone use the word masher since my mother died 15 years ago. That was her favorite word for creep. So apparently it's an old style word for a creep.
I've never heard that before. That's crazy.
I love the term masher. Only time I've ever heard it outside of this thread was in an I Love Lucy episode. So it must have been like an older word for like a creepazoid. Okay, now everybody's just talking about how they haven't heard masher in forever.
Okay, well, it sounds like everybody agrees, though, that she's not the asshole.
Yeah, fuck this guy. He was lucky she didn't have mace or a gun. This is America.
Right. That is the type of shit that would get you shot.
Yeah. No, I would have, if I had had a gun, 100%. You don't know where he's going to go after that.
Right.
Knock you out, take your car. Like, you don't know what's going to happen.
No, as far as I'm concerned, that's intimidation.
And in all reality, if she would have stayed and called the cops, he would have been the one that got arrested.
Right.
For intimidation. Oh.
Dog looks funny back there.
Why? He's sleeping upside down.
Every time he does sleep upside down, all of his teeth are out. And he just randomly will open his mouth sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, not very far, but like a half an inch. His little lower jaw is just moving.
He's a good boy.
Yes.
Okay. Up next. From r/am I the butt face? 11 days ago. Am I the butt face for telling my best friend I can't be her maid of honor because she's cheating on her fiance?
This sounds familiar.
It does?
She's cheating on him, though?
For telling my best friend I can't be her maid of honor because she's cheating on her fiance.
See, I think we did one that was just like this, but opposite.
Oh. I don't know.
Read them and weep.
Title really says it all. My best friend of 12 years lives in another state and has been in a relationship with her girlfriend for 5 years and recently got engaged. 2 girls. They're planning to get married next year, and she asked me to be her maid of honor, which I previously had said yes to. Over the last couple of months, she's been confiding in me that she's been cheating on her fiance. And I don't mean one accidental thing. I mean having a full-blown, intentional, ongoing affair. I've been having many conversations on the phone with her about the situation, and she has seemed to be remorseful and know that what she is doing is wrong and has expressed many other issues with the relationship and know that she should break up with her. So I've been trying to help her get to the point of breaking up, which I know is hard to do when you've been with someone for so long. So I'm trying to have some empathy and grace for why they haven't broken up yet. However, this has been going on for so long that now we are all going to be back in our hometowns for Christmas and supposed to all hang out with our high school friend group and our partners. I haven't seen my friend's fiance since knowing all this, and I'm deeply uncomfortable with keeping the secret. I thought they would have broken up by now, and I didn't know I would be put in this situation. So I called my friend and told her that I love her and I'm here for her, and I know she has to deal with things in her own time, but I'm not comfortable being around her and her fiance knowing what I know. She got pissed the fuck off at me and basically attacked me for 45 minutes and called me a terrible friend and said that she told me those things in confidence and wouldn't have told me if she knew I felt this way. I told her that I was keeping it in confidence and that was putting me in a shitty situation, and she wanted it to continue to be in confidence. I probably shouldn't be around them together so she could deal with it on her own time. She made it pretty clear that she never actually intended to break up with her fiance and still plans to marry her and never tell her about the affair. I'm quite shocked because I thought this whole time that there was not going to be a wedding and that she knew that what she was doing would end the relationship. Now it's clear that she wanted me to just keep her secret and be the maid of honor in her wedding, and is convinced there's nothing wrong with what she's doing as long as her fiance never finds out and she breaks it off with the person she's been seeing and they move on and are happy. This is so, so wrong to me, and I can't be a part of this. She thinks I'm being a bad friend, and this may be the end of a 12-year friendship. Am I the butt face?
No, I think that you're a better friend for being like that.
I think so too.
Because that's like a, what the fuck do they say?
Enabler?
Harsh love? Tough love.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out where you were going with that.
Yeah, that one escaped me there for a little bit. But yeah, that's a tough love situation to me. I've been in situations that I can relate to that. It's not that same thing, but, you know, a friend of mine was doing something that I didn't agree with, and I did lose that friend. But I stood my ground. And
Right.
I think it's important to do that on situations that you feel so seriously about. Every once in a while, maybe make an exception, but I think that this situation is not an exception. You know, if this person regards you that close as a friend, why don't they regard their own fiance with the same closeness? To have an affair like that.
In an intentional,
Yeah.
ongoing affair. Like, it wasn't just one time, holy crap, I totally messed up.
Right.
Whatever.
That I can see the friend being like, okay, I'm going to brush that off. Like, none of my fucking business.
Right.
But it's a long-term thing. And
like calling and telling her all about it and
Right.
telling her like, oh yeah, I'm gonna end my engagement, I'm gonna do this, and then not doing it and expecting her to be around the fiance and not say something.
right.
I couldn't do that.
The main character in this story is putting a lot on the OP. And then to add more to that, like, hey, come watch us celebrate our relationship with a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta
And
be
be a
fucking
part of
kidding me.
it
I
and
can't do
support it.
that. I wouldn't be
Mhm.
able to do that.
No, I wouldn't be able to support it.
Like, because what you're about to go proclaim your love falsely for someone.
Right.
If you truly love someone like that,
You're not gonna do that.
you're not, especially not gonna have a long-term affair. That is not love.
No.
You can still love someone and fuck up and cheat.
Yes, I will agree with that.
I'm not saying that's right to
no,
do, but
like, we obviously would not do that to each other.
Right.
But like,
but yeah, it's not. To me, you don't fully love someone if you continuously cheat on them. If you have a heat of the moment situation, or you fucked up, you were drunk. Either way, it's full of fucking excuses.
mm-hmm.
But I think that you can still recover from that, or still love that person. You're obviously distracted by something else if you're with somebody else multiple times.
Yeah,
I think I did a pretty good job at explaining that.
I think you did too.
Merry Christmas.
Top comment: your friend is a cake eater.
A cake eater.
I don't know what that
Are
means.
they eating ass, dude?
Her
'Cause-
fiance deserves to know what she's marrying. You're not the butt face or the bad friend here.
A cake eater.
Yeah, Reddit has some different lingo that I'm still learning, and I think
Me
this
too,
is part of
apparently.
it. She is the asshole for not revealing her friend to be the scumbag that she is. Imagine your partner cheating on you only to find out that their friend not only knew but helped her by not telling anyone. To put it harshly, either OP can grow a spine and do what must be done, or shut up and be content with being a coward who values a friendship with someone they knew is a shithead over their own morals. OP is being used as a doormat by her friend. Her friend is banging on OP's moral compass, not being strong enough to expose her ass. And from what I've read in this post, she's right. OP knows it's wrong, but is not strong enough or brave enough to do anything about it. OP is perfectly content with sitting on the sidelines and watching instead of taking action, while also proclaiming how much better she is morally for believing it's wrong, but taking no action. I wonder what OP will say when the divorce when the shit comes to light and the fiance loses half her stuff, along with being hit with the knowledge that her cheating partner's friend knew the whole time.
That person went a little fucking hard.
A little hard. Definitely a little hard.
I mean, I get, like, having the perspective that, like, she should say something, but on the other hand, I've been in a situation where, like, I knew that one of my friends was cheating on their significant others, and I was pretty fucking close to saying something, but I never did because it's not my fucking business.
It's hard, and I feel like it's probably going to come out anyway when the fiance finds out that OP's not going to be in the wedding anymore.
Well, yeah, you're immediately going to have to make up some bullshit story about that, so.
Right. And the thing is, if I was OP, if the fiance was like, hey, like, how come you're not going to be in the wedding? I wouldn't lie.
See, and, like, those situations that I've been in, I've also been in a situation where a girl wanted to get with me, but was my friend's wife.
Oh,
and I'm
Lord.
like, no, I'm not.
You told the dude, though, right?
I gave her an ultimatum.
Okay.
I told her that if she didn't tell him, that I would. And I also gave her a fucking timeline. Like, if he doesn't know by tomorrow, I am telling him. And,
right.
like, you best believe that, like, I could get him to go and do whatever with me.
Mm-hmm.
If I had something to do and he wasn't with the kids or something, he would come with me. So.
Next comment. My partner was cheating on me with so many people, including my cousin. Finding out later that all of our mutual friends knew killed me.
See, that's also a different story. Like I said, if it's a one-time thing, I will shake that off.
The hard part is I don't know if OP is friends with the fiance.
That adds a little bit of thickness to it, too.
Now, if OP was friends with the fiance, that would make her a shitty friend for not telling the fiance. If OP is only friends with the other one, the girl, then just set your boundaries.
Right.
And be like, you're going to do what you're going to do in your life. I don't agree with it. I can't be a part of it.
See, I didn't even think about that.
Because it doesn't say. It doesn't say if she's friends with the fiance or not.
Yeah, it seems one-sided.
Yeah.
They're in, like, a different state and everything, right?
Yeah. They live states away from each other.
Yeah, it seems like I'm only friends with one party type thing. I mean, I have a friend like that. States away, and I really only talk to him.
Definitely not friends with the fiance. Comment from OP. Unfortunately, we don't have any mutual friends. I've only met the fiance a handful of times and don't know anyone in her circle as they live in another state.
Well,
doesn't have the fiance's number either. So literally, like, that person who went real hard on this person, like,
right.
A little out of context.
Well, and the other thing about that is you guys already live states away. So, like, you're not missing each other's company per se.
Right.
It's like, well, shit, even Mitch, I don't talk to him that much.
Mm-mm.
And he's a lifelong friend of mine. He lives, they didn't live a fucking state away. He lives on just the other side of this state. I mean, it's in a different state, but
it's still a ways away.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, I mean, Sarah lives, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
And, like, when we remember to check in on each other, we do.
Right.
But it's not consistent because we have lives.
Right. And so that is also the difference with me. Like, especially in this situation, like, you're invited to a wedding, but you know that shit's all fucky with the two.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so now you're wanting me to travel across state lines, do all this shit when I know that you're fucking around on them. Like,
yeah, and I don't think I could look the fiance in the eyes and be like, oh, congratulations, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, it's just a fucking huge waste of time.
Yeah, knowing what your friend is doing, like, I couldn't morally do that.
Well, and it clearly sounds like they don't expect this person, their friend, to stop doing this anytime soon, because it was already supposed to stop.
It was already supposed to stop. Like, it was, the way that the friend made it out to OP is that they weren't happy in their engagement and they were going to end that relationship. And now it's getting to the point of wedding planning. And that relationship obviously is not ending. And they're still having the affair.
Right.
You gotta pick something. Like, you gotta pick.
Yeah, I would also like to just throw in fuck that dude in the comments. Or whoever.
That was really rude.
Right.
Very, very rude. It's, yeah, OP did respond and said that, like, to a couple other ones about how this person is not who they thought that they were. Their friend is not who they thought they were. Kind of thing, which completely understandable. Like, what is happening? Why do people do this stuff?
Right.
Okay. Next up on the agenda from AITAH 5 months ago. My husband gave me a warning tap and I called it abuse. Am I the asshole? As I am writing this, I am laying in bed with my mom. She's helping me gather my thoughts for some other opinions. I am female 24 and my husband is male 30. We've been together for 3 years and married for 1. This is a throwaway account just in case. About a week ago, my husband and I got into an argument over his phone, which he had misplaced. I was in the shower when he lost it, and when I came out, he was throwing a fucking fit over it. He was like, "Where did you put it? Have you seen it?" Angrily yelling and snapping. I said I hadn't touched it and I needed to get dressed. My husband was standing in the doorway looking behind the door, so I couldn't open it. I said, "Hello, please move." Apparently, my tone was rude because my husband turned around and shoved me into the room. I was like, "Okay, you need to calm down. I can help you look, but I gotta get dressed." He tells me to hurry up. I snap back. "I'm not gonna hurry up. It isn't my fucking fault." My husband turned around and hit me in the mouth with the back of his hand. It didn't really hurt, but I was appalled. He called it a warning tap because of my attitude. I left right then and there. I called my mom and came over. I haven't left. My brother took me over the next day to get a few things. My husband asked me if I was really necessary, and I said, "Yeah, it was when you abuse your wife." He was so stricken that I called it abuse. He screamed at me for it. He said I can ruin his career if I use that word. I know that I can, and I know he didn't even hurt me, but that's how I feel. He sent me several texts threatening to divorce me if I use the word again or try to hurt his career by saying it's someone important. By saying it to someone important. Am I the asshole for saying this, potentially citing this, and potentially ruining his career?
No. First of all, you've only been together for 3 years total.
Married for 1, so they were only together for 2 years before they got married.
Right. So you're also 24. You've got plenty of fucking time to find the right person.
Divorce him.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
Top comment, when my boyfriend couldn't find his phone, he asked me to call him, like a normal person.
Right. How many fucking times do I do that to you? I lose everything.
Right.
Jesus. The only thing I know where it's at all the time is my fishing stuff.
And sometimes you don't even know where that's at.
Well, you fucking didn't have to call me out like that.
You're the one who said it.
Yeah. That guy is a piece of shit, and he let his true colors fly because he lost his phone. What's on your fucking phone that's so important to you, bud?
Exactly.
That was the first thing I thought.
Someone responded, because he's cheating on her and he thinks she could potentially know something, so he's panicking.
Sounds legit.
Exactly what I thought. Also, if he calls it a warning tap, listen to him. He is warning you of the escalation that will follow.
Right. Also that. A fucking warning tap. That's crazy.
Yes, this, OP. A rattlesnake warns you by shaking its rattle before it bites you and inflicts a poisonous wound. A domestic abuser warns you with a little backhand smack across the mouth that doesn't really hurt before he knocks out teeth and leaves you with bruises and broken bones. Be smart. Leave the rattlesnake and the abuser alone as soon as they warn you.
Right. Also, the dude is 30 years old. It's not like he hasn't grown out of some sort of temper.
Yeah, this is insane.
I mean, when I was fucking 17, 18, I was meaner than what I am now, I think. I think I have a little bit more of a voice, but, you know, you calm down once you hit your fucking upper 20s. What the fuck?
And this must not be a new thing with the freaking out over little things.
Why did you say this?
OP responded to a comment, which I'm getting to that comment. Hold on. So the comment that OP responds to is, yeah, not only does he hit her, but he then starts with the threats to try and keep her mouth shut. The man is more concerned about his job and reputation than he is about smacking his wife in the face. It doesn't matter that it didn't hurt. That's just blind luck. Next time, there will be a next time. It will hurt. There's only one direction from a warning tap, and it ain't down. Let him threaten divorce. It sounds more like a relief than a threat. Never tolerate being hit by your partner. That is gone for good behavior. Someone else responded, exactly. That warning tap was a warning of worse things to come. Don't go back. OP, consult a divorce attorney. Pronto. OP responds, yeah, he literally said those words. I guess a warning to stop being so rude, but who knows what the next step is. He's never hit me before, but he's pushed me and thrown things in my face before. Also, he is a divorce attorney, but I suppose I just need a better one, which is why he's saying if he gets arrested for domestic, it'll ruin his career because he is an attorney.
Well, don't be a fucking idiot then. Fuck him, fuck his career.
Yeah, someone responded, get the meanest one and make sure they are not friends. Look in a different city if you have to.
Right, because he's just going to represent himself.
He threatens to divorce me because he often says I have nothing without him. I started to believe it for a while. I think he thought I'd be begging him not to, making me apologize like he's done many times before, but I'm not.
He's a narcissist.
Yeah, and this is he was mentally abusing her, and now it's going to go into physical abuse if she doesn't leave.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
Yeah, no. Fuck that. Like, who does that shit?
That's so stupid.
Can you turn off the heater? I'm sweating over here.
You're sweating?
I'm sweating.
I've never seen you sweat before.
I know, it's insane. It's over here. Okay. Nope.
It wasn't even on high.
I know, it was on low, but I also have a blanket on. I'm dying. Oh my goodness, that's so cute. His little eye. Draco is literally snugged up under a blanket. Like, just in a cocoon. He's so cute.
You can't even see him in this picture. Chelsea is taking pictures.
I was trying to take a picture of him so I could post it on Facebook for you guys to see. But
it didn't work.
You can't see him. Anyway. Next up. From 3 months ago, from AITAH. We had a lot from there this time. Am I the asshole for telling my older sister, who's actually my bio mom, that she's not my daughter's grandma?
I need a flow chart.
Okay. So her older sister.
Who is her mom?
Who is actually her mom.
So she got adopted by her grandma.
Yes, by her grandparents.
Okay.
Okay. And she's telling her sister that she's not her daughter's grandma.
That she's not her daughter's
grandma. So she would be her daughter's aunt, not her daughter's grandma.
Oh my God.
Jesse is very confused over here.
What the fuck?
Let me read this and maybe it'll make you less confused, okay?
Alrighty then.
Hi, 31 female here. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Oliver, and I'm 7 months pregnant with our first child, a little girl. The pregnancy has gone smoothly so far, but unfortunately, it's brought up some pretty intense feelings from some of my relatives. My bio mom, Christy, actually gave birth to me when she was only 17 years old. My bio grandparents adopted me and treated me like one of their own children. For years, I thought Christy and that her two older brothers were my siblings and that I was a surprise baby. I wasn't close to Christy growing up because she moved across the country for college and stayed there after she graduated. She did visit for holidays, but I noticed from a young age that she didn't take much of an interest in me and seemed pretty distant. My brothers always did things with me when they were home and even invited me to visit them when I was old enough, but Christy never made an effort to get to know me. I don't think we ever did anything just the two of us for my entire childhood. Christy is now married and has two teenage sons, I think 15 and 17 now, and I also never got to know them outside of family events. I found out Christy was my bio mom my junior year of high school, which is really late in your life.
Right.
And I was shocked to say the least. My parents explained that she loved me very much, but she was too young to be a mother when she had me. They also said my bio father was several years older and abusive towards her. I haven't asked for any other details about this and don't particularly want to know. I'll preface this by saying that I am extremely grateful to Christy for allowing my grandparents to adopt me, especially considering how hard it must have been for her to see her biological daughter at family events and be reminded of what she went through at such a young age. After I learned that she was my mother, our relationship didn't change much, but it did explain why she always kept her distance from me. Sadly, my mother, bio grandma, passed away around 2 years ago. It was devastating because she was the person I called every day and was the best mom growing up. I had a long talk with Christy when she came to town for the funeral. It was the first time we had had a conversation about the fact that she was my bio mom, and she expressed that she would like to get to know me better. I actually visited her shortly after the funeral for a week, and we had some very serious talks. She told me that she always loved me, but it was painful having to give me up, which is why she kept her distance for so many years. She also said she wants to get to know me better and is in a place in her life where she can have a real relationship. I was excited about this, and we've been speaking much more than we ever have, i.e. sending texts, messages, and phone calls occasionally over the last few years. I love Christy and am happy we're building a relationship, but the truth is I'll never see her as my mother. In my heart, my mother is gone, and the best I can hope for is Christy that I'll finally develop a relationship with my older sister. However, lately it seems like Christy wants more from our relationship. Ever since I told her about the pregnancy, I've noticed she's been calling me even more. She's given me a lot of advice and gifts and just wants to be involved with my pregnancy. I was happy about this initially, and I thought we were on the same page that she's my daughter's aunt, but I realized we view her role a bit differently in a phone call we had over the weekend. Out of the blue, Christy asked me if I wanted her to fly out to help when I had the baby. I told her that's so sweet, but I should be okay. I said I'd like her to visit when the baby is a few months old after I've gotten settled. She mentioned how our mother was there when she had her sons, i.e. being in the delivery room and staying for a few weeks after they were born, and said she wanted me to have the same support. I mentioned that my mother-in-law, who I've known since high school and I'm close with, is going to be in the delivery room and is going to help us get settled when the baby is born. I truly didn't think this would offend Christy since she never had a close relationship, but apparently it did. Because she called me a few hours later and said she was sad that I wasn't including her more in the birth of my child. I said I didn't think she'd be offended because she's busy raising two teenage boys, and I didn't think she had the type of relationship where she'd expect or even want to be involved with these things. Christy then said that my daughter is her granddaughter and she wants to be involved in the same extent as my mother-in-law. This completely shocked me. I told Christy that she's my daughter's aunt, and she said we both know that's not true. I explained to her that I view her as my older sister and not my mother, and so that makes her an aunt. Christy then said she didn't have a chance to have a mother-daughter relationship because of the circumstances, and she doesn't see why she can't be a grandmother to my daughter. I told her I want her to be close with my daughter and that I'll do what I can to help facilitate that relationship. But since I don't see her as my mom, I don't feel comfortable with her being in the delivery room or being at my house immediately after the baby is born to help out. Christy said she understood, but I could tell she was crying and said she had to go. I got a phone call from my older brother, Christopher, earlier today, and he said he wasn't supposed to tell me this, but I was breaking Christy's heart. He said that she went through a lot to have me and for me to have a happy family with our family. He asked why I can't include her in the birth of my child and let her be a grandma to my child. I told him that I'm grateful for Christy for everything, but it feels like she's using my baby as a do-over because we didn't have a close relationship. I told Christopher if I had to choose a sibling to be in the delivery room, it would be him because we were close growing up and had an actual relationship. Christopher thought thinks I'm being unnecessarily mean, but I truly just don't see Christy as a mom and don't need her to do motherly things for me now that I'm having a baby. It's also hurtful that she's so keen on having this close relationship with my daughter when for most of my life she never made an effort to have even a sisterly relationship with me. I want to continue building our relationship and I'm happy with the progress we're making, but also this isn't something that's going to happen overnight because I'm having a baby. Any advice on how to navigate this would be appreciated. Am I the asshole?
Jesus.
That was a lot.
It was a lot. Well, I think the initial problem lies in how long OP went without knowing that that was her bio mom.
Yeah.
I think that's the start of it. So she went all of her developmental life thinking that that was her sister. So
And that her sister didn't even care about her.
right. So therefore, why would she bring a child into the world thinking that she's got an actual grandmother when this person was not even the actual mother to the OP?
Just because you give birth to someone doesn't make you a parent.
I agree.
At all. Top comment, they quote OP, it's also hurtful that she's so keen on having this close relationship with my daughter when for most of my life she never made an effort to have even a sisterly relationship with me. Say the exact words to her and your brother.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. A lot of times when you're, like talking to somebody or like if I'm texting somebody something, it'll come out in words that I'm typing way better than it will come out through my head.
Well, and I feel like especially like this is a very emotional time for her. You know, she was about to have a baby. At this point, she would have already had the child.
Right.
And her mother, the person she considered her mother, had passed away a couple years ago. So is not going to be in this child's life. So that's already an emotional thing to begin with. And then now her bio mother, who she's known was her bio mother for like 15 years maybe, and they just started getting a relationship within the last couple years, wants to be her child's grandma. Like that's a lot. That's a lot.
Right.
Yeah, nothing I'm seeing is saying that she's the asshole. Not the asshole. The big thing here is OP was adopted. Adoption terminates the bio parent's connection as a parent. The people who adopted OP are her parents legally and emotionally. Egg donor has no right to mom/grandma standing. She is lucky OP is willing to let her be auntie. Egg donor gave up her rights to a relationship when the adoption happened and she ghosted OP. Now she only gets the relationship OP wishes her to have.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you chose to make that distance. And because of that distance, this is what you get.
So my question now is, where would OP's sister stand if
the mom was still alive?
Yes. Because that would change. I think that changed the whole dynamic right there.
Right.
Well, it did. Because that's when she came to town, and then they had a serious talk about it.
Yeah.
So, at what age is she now?
OP?
Yes.
Going back up. OP is 31.
She's 31, so she didn't know until she was
16, 17?
Yeah, 16 or 17, that this was her biological mother.
And then didn't have a relationship until she was 29.
Another 16 years, almost. I'm doing terrible arithmetic, but yes.
Yeah, you are, but okay.
You always find it funny when I say arithmetic?
Yeah.
Why?
It was 13 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was off by 3 years. Sorry, folks. But yeah, I mean, that makes a whole hell of a difference. And that comment that you just read was like pretty spot on.
Yeah, this is well, and OP deleted their account. I can't see if they posted anything else or if they made any comments. I don't know why they always have to delete their accounts. It's so annoying.
Reddit's hard for you, isn't it?
It's annoying. Like, I want all of the information. I want all of the information. And I don't get all of the information. And it makes me very angrified. So we do have one more because I don't think there's much more to say about this one.
Okay. Oh, we gotta start cooking too. We got that Kill Tony to watch
Yes,
tonight.
we do. All right. So this one was from 16 days ago. Another from AITAH.
You got a lot of fresh ones on this one.
I do.
I'm impressed.
Thanks. That happens when I just I find some really good ones and I don't have to dig in to find them, which is really nice when that happens.
That's fair.
But that's also when you run into issues like people deleting their post. Anyway, am I the asshole? I think I broke my husband.
Okay.
I think they broke their husband.
I'm ready.
Okay. So this is my first time posting here. And English is not my first language, so if I make any grammar mistakes, I apologize in advance. I will try to correct the grammar as I go. If I stumble, that's why. I, 32 female, and my husband, 32 male, have been married for 3 years and together for 2 years. I think they mean together for 5 years.
Okay.
Like together for 2, married for 3. We have 2 children, twins, Alex, male, 2 years old, and Alicia, female, 2 years old. Fake names. So my husband wants another child, but I refused because I'm not prepared for another child. Taking care of 2 children at the same time is hectic enough, but my husband wants another one, and I am not saying that only I take care of children, he also takes care of the children. We take turns taking care of them. So he works 9 to 9 job and I work from home. So the real issue is that he keeps pestering me to have another child, but I am not ready for another child yet. But he keeps pestering me. So I agreed on one condition, that I will take care of the baby at day and he will take care of the baby at night. He agreed to this condition and promised to take care of the baby at night. So we tried, and I got pregnant soon after I gave birth to our son. After the birth, my husband kept his promise and takes care of our son at night. And I mean literally, he will change his diapers. Whenever our son cries, he will take care of him. And for night, I pump milk in bottles so my husband will also feed the baby. He has been taking care of the baby like this for a month now. So I think all this is going well until I get a call from my husband's office that my husband has collapsed and he has been taken to the hospital. I got panicked and rushed to the hospital, and doctors say that he is severely fatigued and exhausted and he needs rest. So I talked to my husband and asked him why he didn't tell me about this. He said that he wanted to keep his promise and doesn't want to burden me. He said he is sorry for collapsing and he refuses to take rest and keeps saying that he will take care of the baby. What do I do? I need advice on how to convince my husband to take rest. Edit. My husband has taken a few days off from work and is resting at home after he got discharged from the hospital, and I have told him to rest and I will take care of the baby. But he still insists on taking care of the baby. Whenever the baby cries, my husband will stop whatever he is doing, like resting on the bed, and he will take care of the baby. Play with him or change his diaper or bathe him, which I am grateful for, but because of that, he is not resting at all. What should I do? Should I take the baby and the kids with me for some time so that he doesn't have to worry about the kids or the baby? He has somehow become very obsessed with taking care of the baby all by himself.
I think this is just a case of a guy that really wants to make sure what he said he would
follows
do.
through.
He follows through with. So I think really just a simple conversation. I mean, I understand that she's like tried to have that, but she needs to like make sure that he understands the importance of his health and rest, rather than jumping up and doing everything. But make clear that you understand that he wants to follow through on what he said, but also make sure that he is taking care of himself during the whole thing.
Right. And the thing is he works 9 to 9. That's a 12-hour shift every day.
A fucking weird one, too.
It is a very weird shift, but said that English isn't the first language, so I don't know if maybe they don't live, like, in the United States.
It's possible.
You know?
Regardless, though.
Regardless, being the only person taking care of the kid at night, I can only imagine would be very hard after a 12-hour shift, too, on top of it. Like, you're never getting a full night's sleep.
Right.
It's just definitely maybe have a conversation of maybe like every other night.
Yeah, it's got to be, you got to find a compromise.
Yeah,
in there,
like,
which I'm not going to sit here and tell you what it is because I would have no fucking idea.
it would just be something that would have to be tried.
Right.
Like, let's try this, see if this works, see if you're getting more rest, da da da. It does sound like she was like, hey, I don't really want to have another kid. And this was the only way she was going to have another kid. So he's like, I need to take care of my duties.
Right. So
as this kid's father.
He's feeling responsible, which I understand. I get that, but at the same time, like, you got to be truthful with yourself, buddy. Like, you got to make sure that you know you're the only person who's gonna know how tired you are.
Right, and obviously he was hiding it well enough that nobody knew until he collapsed.
Right, which that takes. I would say it takes a lot of fucking fatigue to just fall over. Yeah.
Top comment: neither of you is the asshole. You are taking care of children, which is a very tough job. If he is working 9 to 9, which is a 12-hour shift, and also taking care of baby at night, then yes, he is absolutely, and I mean completely exhausted. You work from home and have 2 other kids to take care of, so you are also very busy, but you should take shifts at night so he can actually get some sleep. It is very unhealthy for him to be that overworked.
I agree. Yep.
OP says, thanks for the advice. Someone says, my wife and I split nights into shifts. I take from when she went to bed, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, until 2 a.m. Anything the baby needed in that time was on me. From 2 to 6, it was on my wife. It assured we each got 4 straight hours of rest each night without worrying about the baby. Which is, if that works for you guys, then that works.
Right.
OP, I also told him to take rest, but he keeps refusing to take rest. He said he is fine and don't worry about it. Sounds like you have a good but very incredibly stubborn man. Yes. And he apologized for collapsing. Like, yeah, you can't apologize for that.
Right. He is, what a good guy.
He does sound like a good guy. We have an update.
Okay.
This update was 11 days ago, so initial was 6 days, so about 5 days in between.
What?
5 days in between.
Yeah, but you
16.
Said it. There you go.
Sorry, I'm getting tired. Update on I think I broke my husband. So in my previous post, I talked about how my husband collapsed and is refusing to take rest. The situation has gotten a lot complicated after I told him to take rest. Basically, I had taken children to my mother's house and only let him see the children once a day so he could rest. This worked for a few days. Then one day when I let him see the kids, especially our newborn son, he suddenly doesn't want to give our son back. I asked him to rest and you can see the children tomorrow. He refused and I had to force him to give the child back. And after that, he had a breakdown. He started crying loudly and saying to give him another chance and he would properly take care of the kid. First, I took the kids to another room and called the emergency services, and they got him into a psychiatric care. Oh. This is the first time I have seen him having a mental breakdown, and I'm in so much pain. I don't know what to do.
Okay, so that
I think she went too extreme.
Yes, that went polar opposite. Like,
you can't just take his kids. Like, that's I understand what she was trying to do, which was make him rest. Right. But you took his kids from him and only allowed him to see his children once a day.
Right.
That's not okay.
So you went from being a married couple
yeah,
to like being divorced. And he just wants to take care of his end of things.
Yeah.
So that makes you an asshole.
And it's hard because I'm not saying that the mental breakdown wouldn't have happened. Because without rest, without like when you're that exhausted, that happens.
It does.
However, I think this accelerated that rather than trying to figure out a good compromise. She took his kids.
Yeah.
And that's not, I don't think that's okay. And then he didn't want to give his kid back. And the way that he, I'll be a good dad, I'll be better, like that's not.
Yeah, like I said, it sounds like you went from a perfectly fine married couple that just had a kid to a divorced couple with a newborn. Like, that makes OP an asshole. An unintentional asshole. I don't think that this is what she wanted to happen.
No, I don't think that she wanted it to happen. I do think it was definitely unintentional. I don't like that. I don't like the update. Top comment, seems your husband is having a mental breakdown. He may be worried. Yeah, duh. Like she said that. He may be worried that if he doesn't take care of the baby, you will leave him or something. He may not want to admit you were right and y'all couldn't handle another baby yet. So he's making up all of these worst case scenarios in his head.
Which, it's too late to decide that you were wrong about that.
Right. You have this other child.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out how to handle it now.
Right. And I think that what I hope is that this doesn't lead to a bigger issue, because especially like you called emergency services and shit, like this makes a line in the sand that was not previously there, I think.
Right. No, 100%. And the fact that like it all stemmed from her taking his kids. He wouldn't have freaked out like that if he had had access to his children.
Right. So you need to communicate better.
Definitely.
On both ends. OP and her husband both need to communicate a little better, because if he would have said, hey, I'm too tired to do this every night, and then like that comment said, like the 4, whatever time to whatever time.
Yeah, the 4 full hours.
Yeah. Sounds like a perfect solution, especially with this couple.
Yeah, because you need at least 4 hours of
Right,
sleep.
especially if you're working fucking 12-hour shifts. Who knows what he does for a job? But generally, if you're working at 12, that's probably at a factory somewhere. It's probably taxing work.
Most likely. And even if it is in an office, that's mentally taxing.
Right.
And exhausting. I know.
So then also on top of that, you've got 2 other kids that
toddlers.
Toddlers. So young, still crazy shitheads.
Yeah, 2 years old.
So then, they're both 2. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, because they're twins.
So then with a newborn there, you've got triple the trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just gonna take some working out, and I don't think that emergency services were necessary. He's troubled right now.
We also don't know to what extent he was freaking out.
This is true.
And if it got to the point that it could be dangerous for the children, then yes, emergency services did need to be called. Right. We don't know.
Also, I don't know where they're at. And in that kind of a situation, I'm not sure. I've never been into a mental hospital. I've known people who've been there, but not recently. There's your photo op with Draco. I think that if it's taken case by case, like the first responders or whatever in this situation would probably know that he was just in the hospital from fatigue.
Yes.
And he might just be in a facility for X amount of time, and he's just normally living in there. Like, he might just be getting rest in there, and maybe that's what you need.
Okay. Sorry, I read a comment, and I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Reddit?
Obviously.
The look.
Oh, I lost it.
You have to use your words. We're on a podcast.
Sorry. Someone had said, I hope OP sees how hard he tried to keep his promise and support him through this. Someone responded, support him through this? Why would she want to do that? She has clearly won. He said he would take care of the baby at night, and he can't. She'll have the upper hand on him until the end of time now. Way to go, queen. What the fuck?
Fuck that person. That person knows nothing about anything.
No, and that's where that shocked look on my face, because I wasn't expecting a comment like that.
Like, there is in no way did I get that OP was trying to gain the upper hand or whatever the fuck that dumbass said. That person clearly has no grasp of what it's like to raise children, which I don't either, so I'm not going to speak too much to that. But do you know what it's like to work a fucking 12-hour shift, especially with those hours? 9 in the morning to 9 at night, and then you have 3 kids? Yeah,
and then to be up every hour, if not every couple of hours, like nightly.
So then OP works from home. So like I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to the husband, and I'm doing this because he is at work Like, yes, he doesn't have the 3 kids with him all day while working, but you're at home. So you can, if you got to go to the bathroom, you can go to the bathroom. You know, whereas like if you're in a factory or in most work scenarios where you're working 12-hour shifts, you can't normally just go to the bathroom whenever you want.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if you need to take a 15-minute break, that's on a schedule for you. And you don't know. They might only get a 30-minute lunch break throughout that 12-hour shift. So while OP may be getting more breaks, there is always a little bit more leniency with working at home than there is working not at home.
I'll definitely give you that. Another comment, I deeply emphasize with this family because they're in a rough spot, but I cannot with the will of him shit about not sleeping while his wife sleeps. I don't think anyone is the asshole, and clearly there needs to be a shift in this home so everyone's needs are being met. But she was not wrong for allowing him to uphold his promise, especially if he wasn't telling/showing her how bad it had gotten. And if the tables were turned and she had made the promise her husband had, I say the same, lest you try to argue that I'm a hypocrite. Which I agree. It's hard because a promise was made. The husband thought that he could uphold that promise. He obviously cannot.
Right.
It sucks that she was pushed into having a 3rd child in lieu of this promise and it not working out. And now they've got to figure out something else. However, they have this child.
Right.
The promise is not going to work out. Someone responded, he got what he asked for. How is that her fault?
See, what I don't like all these fucking comments like that because this dude did nothing wrong. He didn't know until it happened that it was going to be too much.
And he still tried to uphold it.
Right. He is doing all that he fucking can. Give him a break, dude.
Right.
Give him a fucking break.
And there's a lot of people on here like that. Like, how about all of the husbands who leave the mother to 4 to 6 months of sleepless nights? That's not this man.
Right.
So it's not about that.
Well, and even OP didn't know that he wasn't going to be able to handle it.
Yeah. There would have been no way.
So I'm like, I'm not even really like jumping to anyone's side in this story.
The whole situation sucks.
It does. I see what needs to happen with the husband, and I see what needs to happen with OP. Like, he needs rest, and you need to fucking figure out a different schedule. So like, I'm leaving the schedule making up to her because she's at home. He has to leave for at least 12 hours a day.
At least, and that's not counting drive time and all the things.
So if you tack in a half an hour drive time, he's gone for 13 hours a day. Okay, so now when he gets home, you know what it's like to get home after a long day. You got to wind down.
Yep.
And then you got to eat.
And there's only 11 hours left in that day.
Right.
Like.
And you're supposed to have 8 hours of sleep.
Right.
Well, you can't do that already with fucking 3 kids.
No.
You can't do that working 12-hour days. We've both worked 12s. It fucking blows.
Even one working from home. I've had some rough weeks of working long hours at home, and that's... Ugh.
Well, and like you've seen me, I've had to... I mean, a lot of it ends up being drive time, but I've worked 15 and 16-hour days. And it's crazy. When I get home, I'm not... There's, like, very few times where I'm just going to pass out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, okay, I'm home. I'm going to fucking... I might play Xbox for 20 minutes. I might watch a music video or something.
Just gotta chill.
Yeah, I have to wind down and become home again.
Yeah.
So the guy did nothing wrong here. Neither did OP. Neither of you guys did anything wrong. You got yourself into a situation that you can work your way out of.
Yeah.
As simple as that. You just got to figure out the way to do it, which is always the hard part, you know?
That is the hard part, is figuring it out. And then once you have it figured out, you're golden. Someone, Grouchy Kitten 1517, said, these comments are fucking ridiculous, or didn't read the previous post. She wants him to rest. She tried to take over. He was refusing to let her because he's clearly messed up right now. She took the kids away as a desperate last way to force him to get some sleep because he refused when she was there with the kids trying to help. It wasn't some sort of punishment. She hasn't accused him of going back on his promise. He's been trying to help. She's been trying to help him. And all this happened because he tried to pressure his wife, into who was already taking care of twins, into having another kid she wasn't ready for. How is she a monster here?
Right.
I agree. It's a really just shitty situation. And I really hope that this man gets what he needs.
Yep.
And can come home to his family. I'm not seeing. I'm going to double check that there's no more posts. Nope, no more posts from OP as of yet.
Well, yeah, it just seems like everything happened with that way too fast.
It happened very fast. Mm-hmm. But again, it was a 5-day difference from the time she posted this to the initial post. So within those 5 days, she took his kids.
Right.
And that's hard because he was really trying. And I feel like if that were me, I would feel like it's my fault that I couldn't handle it. And it was my fault that I collapsed and all of that stuff. And that's just not.
He's taking it out on himself.
He is taking it out on himself. And hopefully he can get the help that he needs. And in all reality, like, men can get postpartum depression as well. So that could be what's happening here too, because postpartum depression can turn into postpartum psychosis, which then there's hallucinations and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully the medical services that he is receiving will help him figure out exactly what's going on, and then he can come home to his family.
The amount of options in this are crazy. Because, you know, and depending on where they're from, he could just be able to find another job. Maybe. I know how the economy is, and I know how hard it is to try and keep this household up, let alone having fucking 3 kids, you know.
Yeah, no. That's insane. That's just like my friend who just had a baby, and her twins are 2. Same situation.
Oh, yeah.
Has 3 kids under 3. It's insane.
Well, none of them are passing out, are they?
No, not as far as I'm aware. I talked to her the other day. She said she's doing good. So,
that's good.
So we're good there. But yeah, it's just, I don't know how people do it. And the way that they were trying to make this work, it wasn't working.
I agree.
So what is happening? These
I hope
people's lives are in shambles.
Right. And again, another end of an episode where I'm happy that we are what we are.
Yes, I will definitely say that reading these stories makes me happy that my life isn't as insane. I mean, I still got shit that goes on, but it ain't like this.
Right. Also, what a relatively animal-free episode.
I know. What happened there? Because they were even messing around before we started the episode. I was a little worried that, but maybe that's why, because now they're both passed out.
Right. Well, I know that when you were sleeping earlier, Spike was at the foot of the couch, and I laid down on the floor, and Draco was trying to cuddle with me. I don't know if he eventually did, but so he's crashed right now. Spike,
They both are.
Spike crashes out hard during the day sometimes too.
Yeah, which is why I get woke up so frequently at night.
Yeah.
I don't know where the cat went, but
I don't know either.
This is the What is Happening episode.
Is this the 12th episode?
I have absolutely no idea.
I
don't know. I have
find
not
that
kept
out.
track.
The only reason I've been keeping track is once I go to upload, I look at the previous episode to get the number.
Right. No, but hopefully everybody enjoyed this. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all of the things. Definitely want to get our name out there a little bit more this year. And, you know, reach more people. You know, let us know if you have any stories that you would like us to read, or any, you know, themes that you think would be a good idea, things like that. So,
Right, and I will be getting some clips together to put on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the
things.
Yeah, all the socials. So I'll be getting that done. Like I said, I'm in a lull of fishing right now, so I will get out what I can, try and keep up on all the things that I try and keep up on my off seasons, and we will keep getting these episodes out.
Yeah, and I'm already working on next week's episode, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we will have video for that one.
Yep.
And we will get back on our normal schedule. So, hope you guys enjoyed.
Yep. We'll see
Bye.
you next time.